everyone, this is Holly with Reiki Light Blessings. It is May, one of my favorite times of year. The flowers are popping, at least they're starting to. Grass is green, the weather is beautiful, and so just my absolute favorite time of year. So I hope that you are having a wonderful May as well. Last night I was watching a movie with my husband, and this movie kind of prompted me to speak today. So the movie it was about a documentary about a pro surfer, and the doctor that was on was interviewed, and he was saying that this person was not able to change their thoughts, so he was a victim of his own thinking. And I do believe differently. I do believe that we can change our thoughts. I believe changing our thinking can change our life. It's not an easy thing at times, and so I thought maybe I should go ahead and give a talk about how to change your thinking. It's something that we're not always taught in school, or maybe not taught in our families and by our other authority figures, whether it's church or different avenues. It's not something that we really think about a lot, but it's something that is very, very important. So changing our thinking. One thing that Dr. Joe Dispenza is an author and a public speaker that I also follow, and he talks about how 90% of our thinking is automatic. So it's automatically every day, it's coming on autopilot. We're having the same thoughts, whether it be about finances or family or work. We're thinking the same thoughts over and over again. 90% of our thoughts are rethought every single day. There are a few ways to break this chain, and it's something that I recommend for everyone, especially when you have things in your life like trauma, some really painful situations in your life. Changing our thinking can be a great way to heal. So personally, I've had a few moments in my life that were pretty traumatic. One being the death of my daughter, another one being about 7 years ago. My life just kind of blew up, and I didn't know what I wanted in life. So it was very important for me to change my thinking. So first of all, changing our thinking. Like I said, 90% of our thoughts are just reoccurring every single day. I also think when we get stuck into pain, we can go ahead and get on a negative thought one-way road, is what I call it. And so one negative thought leads to the next negative thought, leads to the next negative thought. And it's literally feels like a physical connection in your brain just doing this, going one way. And we got to stop that. So there are a few ways that you can stop that. One, and this may sound kind of funny, but 7 years ago, one thing that I had to do when I had done a lot of my processing, a lot of my releasing of my pain, I was still having some of these thoughts, and I had to say, stop. I could say it in my mind or out loud. Out loud helped me better, but once I said stop, I just said stop, my brain went on pause. It gave me that moment to breathe and then think of something different. One other thing that I'm going to tell you may sound kind of silly, but it is big. This helps tremendously. It is thankful thoughts. So if we're having a very bad day, one thing that I do is when things are kind of rolling in a bad day pattern, I stop and I tell myself, okay, I'm going to think of something to be thankful for right now. That I have shoes on my feet, that my shoes are tied, that my legs are working well, that I have healthy legs, that I have health at this time, that the sun is shining today, that I have hot water for my bath, that I have air conditioning in my car. It can be anything, it can be small. Just start out small. Once you start looking for those thankful things, we're actually training our brain to go onto a one-way good road, positive thinking. The other thing that I did is writing for me is very therapeutic. So I started a thankful journal where I wrote at least 3 things every day that I was thankful for. And I am telling you, it works on a huge level. So it's something that seems small, but it works in very big ways. And your brain will just start making those connections on its own to look for positivity in things. Now, this isn't to say, I have pain, I'm just going to sit here and think of positive things. No, we need to also process this. This is when your brain is stuck, that you really want to use these things. When your brain is stuck in the same thought pattern, and we want to go ahead and get our brain out of that thought pattern. Another thing that I do with painful times in my life, I know when my daughter died, I wrote this whole paper. And part of the paper, I wrote a section that said, God, why? Why did I deserve this? So I felt that I was being punished, and I specifically felt that God was punishing me. And boy, has my thinking changed. My journey has led me to opened eyes and to understanding God's love on a deeper level. God loves us whether we're falling. God loves us whether we're succeeding. God loves us whether we're sleeping. God's love never stops. I know there are times that we may make choices that aren't in our best interest, and sure, God's gonna be like, okay, I wish you may have made a different choice. His love never stops, even when he wants us to make a different choice. We aren't being punished in life when bad things happen. We don't deserve that. However, I do feel that there are good things that come out of pain. And sometimes it's very difficult to see that, and sometimes I don't see it until after that pain has subsided, and I can look back and say, well, I grew closer. I grew closer to my family. I was able to have a little bit of time to process things. Whatever it is, I do think that there is good that comes out of this. So going back to that punishment thinking, what I started doing in my life is I started asking, what can I learn from this? And boy, did my brain latch onto that, and something, the feelings in me just stopped on a negative wave, and my brain said, hey, wait a minute, let me think about this. What is a lesson that you could grow in? So this, it would be growth in learning how to love unconditionally. So a lot of times we may feel attacked by life, and we have to stop and say, what can I learn from this? Can I learn more patience? Can I learn to understand someone else's pain on a deeper level? Can I learn truth? Can I learn how to speak up? Can I learn that I need to let go sometimes and just trust God? That's another big one. That happened to me too, where we want to control things, especially in moments of negative thinking and pain. We want to find ways to control. And I was on a walk with my daughter when she was little, and I literally stopped on the sidewalk. I threw up my hands in the air. I said, God, please help me answer this. And, God showed me that I was in his hands. Just this feeling of peace came over me, and the feeling of his hands reaching down towards me and just saying, you're in my hands, let go of this. And that really was a day that pivoted me into my healing journey. I let go and just said, all I can do here is start working on healing. So one other way to change our negative thinking or a thought pattern that isn't in our best interest, would be to visualize yourself where you want to be, or visualize yourself happy. So my happy thought, some people could think of them just at a beach, at a sunset, just calm, peaceful, the right temperature. You can take that and you can visualize it. So when you have moments of feeling the negativity or down, you can actually tell your brain, I'm going to think about this, and then the feelings start coming up. So it's another way just to kind of distract our brain and lead it to where we want to be. So my happy place is actually me running through flowers, just these blooming flowers, and me kind of running and jumping through these flowers. So that's my visual piece that I use for negative thinking or thinking that I don't want to have. This was a message that I thought was very important. It was called to me after watching that movie last night, and so I hope you enjoy it. It's not always easy to change our thinking, but it is possible. I promise. Me being one, I've changed my thinking a lot. I've also changed my beliefs, and that is something that's for another discussion. So just know that you can change your thinking and be on a road where you want to be. Life is a miracle. Life is precious. Life is beautiful. Life is love. So I'm going to end here. I just want to say that my heart goes out to each and every one of you, and I love you. Have a happy, happy May.